my goal here is to help companies bridge the gap, because freezing isn't a strategy, right? We can't do strategic work or agile to meet the market where it is today. We have to do both. We have to find a way to combine these two. And that's what I really wanted to talk to everyone about today. It's what I hope you can take some pieces from this and bring it to your own organizations. And the way that I like to talk about it is within the framework of what I call the 0 point mindset. All right. So the 0 point mindset is something that empowers innovation in any market environment. Okay. So when we think about the 0 point, the way that I like to think about it, there are some terms in quantum physics and mechanics that are way above my pay grade in terms of the scientific definition of the 0 point. But the way that I like to think about it is, what is the most core basic starting point that we can get to as an organization so that we can find true growth in any way we can, right? Because we're going to talk about innovation. And when we talk about innovation, a lot of times we think about disrupting industries, disrupting markets, but companies don't always think about disrupting themselves. And they're not always open to the idea of true change the way that we might like to be. And so the 0 point mindset helps us center and focus on who we want to be, how we want to innovate. And then when we get hit with challenges from the market and uncertainties, it helps us adapt and change and do the right thing. So the way that I define it is a singular moment of clarity where we're stripping away biases, habits, and outdated assumptions. It's the foundation for bold strategy, disruptive innovation, and sustainable growth. All right. So when we think about this tactically in an organization, the way that we help companies do it is through this flywheel. There's 5 stages. I'll go through them now, and then we'll dive into each one in more detail. And I think these are really critical tools for helping you adapt innovation into a culture within the organization. It helps procedurally and process-wise get people together on the same page about it. It really just affects the entire organization in a positive way. So when we think about the first step here is deconstructing assumptions, right? Who we are. We have a vision, we have a strategy for the company, but there's a lot of ways that we might think we've always done it this way. There's a lot of things that we do that are rinse and repeat. They're things that it's always, habits and formations that we build that are holding us back in a lot of ways from true innovation. And it keeps us from looking at objective data that we're seeing from customers or from the market and making decisions that could put us in the right direction, but because of some of these assumptions, they're holding us back. And we'll talk about this in a bit more detail on how you can think about that in different ways. Second, we looked at ourselves. Now we have to look out in the marketplace. We have to unlock deep customer insights, right? So we have to talk to people. We have to learn from our customers, from our consumers, from our end users, what some of their biggest problems, issues, and needs are, and what's the real job to be done, right? For those of us who are fans of the Clayton Christensen model for innovation, what's the job to be done? Why are we being hired by the customer with our products? And how do we address it? And this is where a lot of times we might see that we're really providing a Band-Aid to a solution, where really there's a more holistic innovation that we can be providing to really help people along the way. Once we have those insights, we can then reframe the problem and then ideate, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to use creative problem solving as the framework for innovation. Because, when we come up with ideas without doing that research ahead of time, it brings so much inherent risk because we don't know what people care about. And if we're not solving problems for people, then they're not going to be interested in our solutions. So it has to be a connection there. And this is one of the ways that's most powerful for companies, especially in uncertain times, because uncertainty means problems, and problems mean an area of opportunity for solutions. And that's where innovation comes to play. When we come up with our ideas, the next step is to test small, learn quickly, right? We have to get out there and execute. We can't sit on the fence. We can't freeze. We can't wait till the storm is over. We have to measure, adapt, scale small pilots. And we'll talk a bit about how to do that today. And then lastly, we have to commit to reinvention. And this is often the hardest part for companies to get their heads around, because a lot of people want to talk about innovation. They want to say, we're an innovative company, we care about it. But then when push comes to shove and opportunities come around for real reinvention, all of a sudden it's, we don't do that, or, that's not who we are. A commitment to reinvention and a commitment to changing and adaptability makes uncertain environments an advantage for you, because you have it in your muscle memory, your systems, to be able to build and explore.